Hi guys, happy Tuesday, maybe? I think it's Tuesday. Yeah. Happy Tuesday. So, we're gonna go right back to the Egyptian gods and goddesses. So, this is really amazing. So we have Amun, which is the Egyptian god, Ra, basically. So Amun, the hidden one, was an Egyptian god, a sun god, supreme god of creation. So the Lord of the sky and king of the Egyptian world. So he was one of the 8 Egyptian deities composing the Ogdod in the Hermopolitan theological system. I can't say that. Whatever, I don't care. So who represented chaos. So he is one of the 4 masculine deities who had heads of frogs representing their apparent self-creation, which is amazing. I think that's incredible. So, but his consort was Amunet, and together they epitomized hidden powers. Now Amun is portrayed as a pharaoh with blue skin and wearing a turban, surmounted by 2 large plumes of feathers, symbolizing dominance over both Upper and Lower Egypt. So, Red Egypt, Black Egypt. That's what that is. In addition to the major temples at Luxor, other sanctuaries honoring him were built beyond the first Nile cataract. Amata, Soleb, Gebel Barkal, and Abu Simbel. I think I said that right. I have no idea. Alright, so the ram with curved horns symbolizing Amun, and the Nile goose was sacred to him. So as the deity, he was regarded as hidden, but spreading throughout the cosmos. Though Amun was depicted in anthropomorphically in temple hymns, other deities described him as hidden of aspect, mysterious of form. But in the New Kingdom, from the 16th century BCE onward, Amun was drawn as the manifestation of the ancient sun god of Heliopolis, so which in effect increased his prestige and entitled him to be called the king of the gods. So literally, he was regarded as being the father of each pharaoh. Now at Thebes, he was revered as a snake deity, which with inferences to more immortality and endless renewal. Now, Amun's ithyphallic form most likely originated from the legendary conception that he was first formed of the gods, since he had no father, and he had no, impregnate his own mother. He was generally regarded as a god, giving great, where'd I go? I just lost where I went. Great sexual attributes. So the temple of Queen at Hasput at Deir el Bahari bears a relief of her mother impregnated by Amun. Very, very different. So a similar scene exists in the temple of Hemenhotep III at Luxor. Many wall paintings of Amun and the pharaoh fill the great hall of Hypostyle, as well as the several possessions honoring Amun. So the Amun priesthood had become very powerful by the 12th century BCE, thus eventually leading to a contest between Amun and Aten, the god created by Amenhotep. That is, I think this is where we are getting to connect Amenhotep to Baphomet the Fourth. Amun's experience a short eclipse and returned to power until the end of ancient Egyptian history. So, him, very important god. So, let's see, now we have Amunet. Amunet or Amanunet was a fertility goddess of Upper Egypt. So she apparently, being the consort of Amun in the Ogdod of the Hermopolitan theological system, who represented chaos. She is one of the 4 feminine deities who had serpent heads representing their affinity for the depths of the earth. When paired with Amun, the couple represented hidden power. She is shown in many relief and in a notable structure from the record hall of Thutmosis III at the Karnax complex of Thebes, where she was honored as a benign, protective deity, especially at times of royal accession. So, as a fertility goddess, she was greatly eclipsed by the goddess Mut. Sometimes she was equated with Neith, the greater goddess of Sais, and her attributes may include the red crown of the Delta. It's so interesting, all of these are. Alright, so we now have Anubis, which everybody loves Anubis. Who does not love Anubis? And so Anubis, on one legend, has Anubis as the son of Nephthys and Osiris. The union took place when Nephthys was the consort of Seth. So fearing Seth's wrath, Nephthys exposed the infant when he was born, soon after Seth killed Osiris. And Cain and Abel right there. I mean, this is the very first story of Cain and Abel. Well, the original. And when looking for the body parts of Osiris in the Delta, Marsh's Isis found the child and adopted him. Anubis was among the deities who helped Isis magically reassemble Osiris. So, in other traditions, Anubis is the son of Re and Nephthys or Isis. Now, Anubis is the god of mortuaries. Ooh. He took the form of a black dog or jackal, usually in a lying down or crouching position, his ears pricked, and a long hanging tail. He wore a collar of magical connotations. Less frequently, he was pictured as human with a canine head, perhaps the imagery of the dog origination from the observation of bodies being scavenged from shallow graves and the desire to protect them from such a fate by manifesting Anubis as the dog himself. Very interesting stuff. So, now in the Book of the Dead, Anubis is standing by the scales in which the heart is weighed in the Hall of the Two Truths, the Halls of Amenti, and he is sometimes known as the Claimer of Hearts. Now, Anubis was perceived to superintend the embalming of kings in quarters in the mortuary and the subsequent binding with linen bandages. So the color of his coat was thought to be black because of the color of the corpse after embalming process, which darkened it, and the use of black tar to seal the bindings. His symbol in the context of the mortuary god is an animal skin headdress, dripping blood and tied to a pole. Yeah, that's wonderful. At the subsequent funeral ceremony of the opening of the mouth, the priest wore a jackal headdress. The main ceremony or cemetery sites were on the west side of the Nile, where the sun sets. Hence, on epithet for Anubis was chief of the westernry. Another, he who is upon the mountain, conjures an image of Anubis, guarding the cemeteries from high encampments. So during the Greco-Roman period, Anubis became a cosmic deity of earth and sky, thus losing some of his former function. So, yeah. I still love Anubis. I do. I love Anubis. Now we have Aton. I love Aton too. Amazing. Seriously amazing deities. Alright, now Aton was the material character of the sun god Ra, the solar disk. Now it was in the 3rd millennium BC that the pharaoh Shephren first declared himself the son of Re, but it was the reforming zeal of Amenphis that increased the worship of the sun god to unprecedented heights. So as Akhten, the devotee of Aton, this unusual pharaoh sought to consecrate devotion on the purely material character of the sun god as a solar disk. So, Aton. He rejected the deities of the previous rulers and persecuted the priests of Amun. Now, the ram-headed god of Thebes, whose influence in religious affairs had went unchallenged since the exclusion of the Hyksos. Whatever. He built a new city of residence for Re and himself, called Akhetaton, the horizon of Aton, located halfway between Thebes and Memphis. So, where Aton was worshipped as the creative principle of all life, father of all men, who gave them different colored skins, different languages, and different lands. So, to the Egyptians he gave to the Nile, to the others to gave rain. The worship of Aton was short-lived because Achaemenation remained isolated in the Achaean, not caring about possession of Egypt in Canaan. So after his death, Tukham returned to the court of Tebes, and under the last pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, Harameb, all traces of the worship of Aton disappeared. So yeah, it's just weird. Some of them are really different. But I love this. Now we have Atum. Atum, Tem or Tum. So Atem or Atum was an elderly god of Heliopolis, and a pre-dynastic sun deity. The Heliopolitan theologians interpret his name to mean the complete one, so in reference to their belief that Atum created himself out of the waters of Nun, either through the effort of his own will power or by uttering his own name, which was the power of the spoken word. He was also called Neberjur, Lord of the Limit, or Universal God. There's a lot of universal gods everywhere in the Egyptian Pantheon. So it's kind of difficult to kind of like pick, which one was actually literally the creator. So it's different. All right. So he was a founder of the Heliopolitan Ennead, and was called the Bull of the Ennead, a reference to his cult animal, the bull Nevis. So sometimes Atum was thought to have originated as a serpent in Nun, and to be destined to return to that form. But through his identification with Re, serpents became his enemies. So at times, he was represented with the head of I don't know what that is, some kind of animal. Because once, when a serpent attacked him, he turned himself into I don't know. I don't know this word, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. That's very odd. Ikinemon? Whatever, because, he was a serpent. When a serpent attacked him, he turned himself into it to devour it. So it's some kind of animal, I don't know. So more commonly, however, he's represented as a bearded man, usually aged and tottering to the western horizon as the setting sun, because he is seen as the creator of the gods and men, and hence of the divine order of heaven and on earth. He was called Lord of the Two Lands, and as such was depicted as wearing the cent, the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, and breaking an Ankh scepter, the sign of life and symbol of royal authority. So, originally Atum was androgynous. Alright, and as Yeshua, the sole parent of the first divine couple, Shu and Tefnet. But he was later given two wives, Usu and Nefet Hotep. Very interesting, so we're really getting there. Now we have Bast. Bastet or Bast is obviously the Egyptian cat-headed goddess that we all love and know, so probably originally associated with the lioness, who was a local deity, having her called in obssessed, where a necropolis house mummified cats. So she appeared in the Second Dynasty in the Delta now, and had an early fetish for cats, the wild domesticated variety, that were admired for their virility, strength, and agility. So although she remained a loyal deity, Bast, who soon associated with Re, is said to be his daughter and wife, and with the Osirian deities. So Bast personally it is said, defended Re against the serpent Apep. Her son, Mahes, whom she had by Re, is depicted as a lion-headed man wearing the Atef, and that's the crown of Osiris. So, as a lion devouring its captive, or sometimes identified with Horus of Praises, a form of Horus the Younger. So, at the other time, Mahes was identified with the Neferutum, the son of Sekhmet, so with whom her priests tried to fuse Bast. The identification was attempted in the 22nd dynasty, when, beginning with Shishong, the pharaohs were who were of Libyan origin, made their capital near Budatis, and adopted the goddess as their own. The temples of the Buddhists were enriched, and a great new shrine was built at Thebes. So an estate deity in the late period, Bast, who looked upon as a kindly goddess representing the beneficent powers of the sun, protecting the two lands, and sometimes who said to personify the moon. Sekhmet, on the other hand, represented the destructive powers of the sun, and the popular belief clearly distinguished her from Bast. So also Bast acquired some powers from Hathor, being known as the goddess of joy, music, and dancing. That Hathor, that is who I have been feeling the most right now. We have to bring in Hathor's energy. So it's dancing and music and joy. We need that right now. So her cult was celebrated in lighthearted barge processions and in orgiastic ceremonies. So she was portrayed as a woman with a cat head carrying a sistrum, so a box or a basket, and the head of a lioness surrounded by many concentric necklaces. Concentric necklaces. During her festival time, it was impious to hunt lions, a favorite sport of the pharaohs. So, cats were revered and treasured in her honor. Now, as a Greek observer noted, when a fire erupted, strange things occur. The Egyptians gather in a line, thinking more about the cats than putting out the fire, but the cats dart through or leap over the men and spring into the fire. Then, there was much mourning. So, talking of dwellers in a house where a cat had died a natural death, the observer noted the people shaved their eyebrows, but where a dog had died, the head and the body are shaven. It's interesting. So for Bast, that's just really, really interesting stuff. So we will go on. We have a lot more to do. I did not know that. That's very interesting. You shave your head and your body when a dog dies, but when a cat dies, you gotta get rid of your eyebrows. No, not doing that. I'd shave my head and my body for my dog, but that's it. Couldn't get rid of my eyebrows. No, ever. So, but alright guys, I hope you enjoy. And I can't wait till we get to the Baphomet and the whole connection with the ancient Egyptian deity and with the connection of Baphomet. So it's going to be pretty interesting. So, happy full moon. Everybody stay safe, stay home. And yes, I love you all the way from Venus, all the way back down. Oh my God, I have gained more weight. This is sickening. I'm over gaining weight. All right, guys, I love you all, and everybody have a good day and stay safe, please. So, I love you all. Thank you guys for watching.